Dreaming Show.
Hello and welcome to The Dreaming Show. I'm Gabby Company in Melbourne, Australia. My guest today is John Cirak, well known as the experienced bachelor. Welcome, John.
Thank you for having me. Very
Thank
nice
you.
of you to invite me.
Thank you for being with us on The Dreaming Show. Today the topic, a very important topic, is the importance of how you present yourself on a date. John is an expert on relationship. Could you tell us about this, the importance of how you present yourself on a date?
Well, it's probably the most important thing that you can do. You only have approximately 7 seconds to create a first impression from probably around about 5 to 6 meters away. A woman will end up making a judgment or an appraisal of who you are or what you are by the way that you present yourself. So it's critical on a date. It's absolutely critical.
When we say present yourself on a date, what does it involve?
Well, lots of things. But initially, it's visual attraction. Okay, we don't know anyone until we actually see them. So and we usually end up appraising that vision that we see that quickly. Particularly women. Women are really adept at doing that. Men tend to be less so. They tend to be more. They make an appraisal by what they hear, what they've been told, or the way that they speak, or whatever. They don't necessarily look at how they present. So women do. Women will look at it on the basis of how you dress, how you're groomed, how you hold yourself, how you walk, all sorts of things in that. But that's not just one part of presentation. How to present yourself is also once you've introduced yourself. How do you shake hands? How much eye contact you have with a person, how your manners are when you go into the date, all the chivalry stuff that comes into it, presenting a chair for her and have her sit down, and then it's also the conversation, how you talk, how you laugh. All of these things are how you present yourself.
Interesting. How did you start coaching men and women about this topic, dating?
Out of necessity for myself. I was married for 29 years and then I ended up getting divorced, and I realized that I knew nothing about being single. I went from living with my mother to living with my wife for 29 years. And so when I became single, I had no clue how to ask for a date. I was too shy, too embarrassed, too scared, too everything. If women would even approach me or something, I would go into meltdown, literally.
Really?
So it was like really bad. And then I found a book on dating, and I was so surprised that there was a book about dating. I didn't think anybody would write a book about dating. And so I read the book over and over and over again and started practicing some of the stuff. I ended up calling the author in the United States. He became my coach and then eventually became my mentor. And so I learned a lot of stuff from that person. But then I started sort of applying some other stuff that I started learning. And so slowly I started going out. I became more comfortable in approaching women. I became more comfortable in asking women for a date. I was more comfortable, being on a date. And so that sort of grew from that. And then one day I was in my office and my office cleaner, who was a guy, overheard me making a date on the phone. And he came in and he asked me, if I went out every weekend. And I said, yeah, I do. And I asked him why he asked me, and he said that he hadn't been out with a woman in over 8 years, and he was 42 years old. He was a good-looking bloke too. So I was astounded by that, but I understood because I'd been in that situation. And so then I started coaching him, and I didn't know I was coaching him. I was just telling him what I was doing and how I did it. And so I took him out. I was his wingman. And so we went out on dates. I took him out to dancing classes and all of this stuff. And eventually he started doing it on his own, and eventually he just drifted out of my life, and because he got what he needed from that. So I got the taste for doing that. So I then decided to train as a coach to be able to do that more specifically. And I love coaching. I love help people. And I'm particularly passionate about this thing. I didn't go into coaching because I wanted to become a coach or a 6 or 7-figure coach. I did it because I want to help. Initially it was men, but now I help men and women. Because women have just as much difficulty in transitioning from divorce into the single sphere. So yeah, basically that's why I got into it.
Okay. Talking more deeply, what do you think about couples? They are probably married 20 years, 25 years. How they must look after themselves, how they must present themselves each other. Do you think it's important?
Absolutely. Apathy and just doing the same old is rampant. You know, you get like that. You get so familiar with somebody, you're living with them all the time, etc., that you don't you don't present yourself fresh all the time. So to me, it's like I can understand how that happens. Even I would fall into that trap sometimes myself. But you get to the point where you don't have to impress. Or you feel that you don't have to impress, so therefore you don't. And the problem with that is that your partner accepts it. And so it's what I call enabling behavior. And the biggest drawback to couples and to relationships is when one or the other partner enables bad behavior. So if my wife had sort of said, oh, you know, you can't come dressed up like that, go and put something decent on. Well, then you'd say, oh, okay, all right, so you did. But if she hadn't told me, I would have turned up in my, you know, shorts and a pair of thongs and a T-shirt. And instead, you know, you go and change the things. So to me, it's a matter of, you know, being fresh and make your partner accountable about how they present themselves.
Do you think it's important to keep the marriage, the couple together?
Of course. Yes, everybody wants the ever after story. Everybody wants to live until, you know, death do us part.
Yeah.
Everybody wants that.
Nothing is granted.
No.
Nothing is granted. We need to look after the couple. We need to look after the marriage.
You got to work at it.
Yeah.
You got to work at doing that. But in saying work at it, it's not like some people sort of think that they have to do this stuff that they don't want to do because they call that working at it. No. It's a matter of being conscious of your relationship. And to me, this is my credo that I work by, and that is that every relationship ends when one or the other partner does not meet their needs. So you might not be meeting my needs, I might not be meeting your needs. When that goes on for an extended period of time, it's goodbye to the relationship, it ends. So to me, working on a relationship is keep aware of what the person's needs are. And people's needs change over time. You got to be aware of it. You got to be able to always be constantly trying to meet those needs. And at the same time, you have to be able to, you know, verbalize to your partner what your needs are. That's what's called communication.
Yeah. Very powerful, very powerful. Not just suffering, just communicate how we are feeling, what we would like to get from another person.
Yeah. But too often, communication is interpreted as what I want to hear. Right? So, you know, you're not telling me everything, you know, you should be doing that. That's not communication. Communication is being able to come openly and discuss something that is troubling you without fear of repercussion, without fear of judgment, without fear of rejection. To be able to be so comfortable that anything can be discussed.
Yeah.
That's communication.
Yeah, you're right. Tell me, your brand is the Experienced Bachelor. What does it mean? Where this name came from?
Yeah, the Experienced Bachelor. I like it. People call me the Experienced Bachelor.
Sounds very powerful.
Yeah, and I kind of like it. Actually, it wasn't my idea. I wish I hadn't come up with it. But it was a woman that came up with that when I was asking people in my Facebook page to come up with a business name for my coaching practice, and a woman put in the experienced bachelor, and she said, "Well, you're an ex-husband, you're experienced, and you're a bachelor, the experienced bachelor." And I said, "I like it. I like it."
Yeah, sounds
And
different, unique.
It's a really good brand, and I used to be a graphic designer, so I created my own brand, and now I'm the brand. I am the bachelor. So to me, it's like I go out, I dress like this most of the time.
Yes, you look very elegant.
Yeah, you never know when that woman's gonna bump into you.
We never know.
So to me, it's like I don't want to be going around a corner in my crappy shorts and thongs, and then like be too embarrassed to actually ask her for a number.
Yeah, what I hear sometimes, people confuse being me, being natural, just not dressing up like it should be. You can be casual, but at the same time, you can be clean, unique, authentic, personal brand.
You have to have your personal style.
Yes.
This is my personal
Agree.
style, right? It's not everyone's. Not everyone wants to go around in a pink jacket. This is my personal style. But whatever style you have, make sure that it's your style and be sure that it's there all the time and that you can be the best version of yourself.
Yes.
I get this so much time. I'm not willing to change. You know, that's hypocritical. She's got to take me the way that I am. I am who I am. I can't change.
I'm happy who I am.
Yeah, I'm happy. Rubbish.
Yeah.
Get over it. It's like, you know, your ex-wife, put up with it, right? This new person that's sitting in front of you on the other side of the table who you only just met doesn't have to put up with it. So it's like, you know, you gotta present yourself.
And love
the best
yourself.
version.
Love yourself. You know, that's the thing. Do things not for somebody else. Do things for you because you love yourself.
This is another interesting point. This is where so often this comes up about loving yourself. And with men, they'll just interpret loving yourself as being narcissistic. And that somehow like, I'm up myself. Or particularly in Australian culture, it's very much so, you know, I don't have to love myself. That's, you know, it's effeminate. And, no, it just means that you have self-respect.
Yes.
Have high self-esteem. Walk the talk. Be who you believe you are. Okay? Be the best self of yourself at all times. That's what loving yourself means. It means respect for yourself.
Thank you, Young. I really enjoyed this topic. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Please, could you tell us your business name? How can people contact you and you can help them, please?
For sure. My business name is The Experienced Bachelor. That's EX-Experienced Bachelor. I also run a Facebook group, which is a private group, which is called 45 Plus and Single Again. It's particularly for mature age men and women. It's a very, really exciting kind of group. We do a lot of talking. I post material every day, tips on how to go through dating and other stuff. And then people in the group also put material in there. If you want to contact me, friend me on Facebook, John C. Cirak, and I'll friend you from that. And then you can message me if you want to end up using my services or whatever. I'm transitioning from doing one-on-one to doing workshops now, and my next workshop is in January. It's a 2-day workshop, which is going to be how to get rid of old baggage, pick up new luggage, and knowing how to let go. So that's what we're going to be doing. It's actually a 2-day workshop. 1 day is going to be for clearing out the old baggage that we've got, and the next day we're going to pick up new luggage and start afresh for the rest of your life.
Thank you, Young. Thank you very much. Thank you for being in the Dreamy Show.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you. Thank you very much for being with us. See you next time. All the best, Gabby Company in Melbourne, Australia. Bye.